Hello, this is Maya Rudani, and this is my presentation. The topic for today is benefits of social work in schools and integrating social works into education. So, this was meant to be our discussion portion of the presentation. However, due to the fact that we no longer have class, I will answer these questions myself, and hopefully you guys can just think on these questions as you go through the presentation and come up with your own individual answers and how you would answer them. And you can take it from there. So, have you ever had an experience with a school social worker? I personally have had an experience with a school social worker at a time in my life where I had a hard time coming to decisions about things. I would visit the school counselor for academics, and then when personal life would interfere with academics, I was referred to school social workers, which helped a lot. The second question I had was, what do you believe a school social worker's role is within the school? I believe a school social worker's role is to assist the child through their academic performance, as well as like at home as well, see what other pressures might affect their academics as well. And then my last question was, what impact does a school social worker have on a student's performance? Based on my specific experience, I would say quite a lot, because my school social worker was helped me a lot to apply to colleges, helped me a lot to think about what my future role is for my job. Like, I didn't really know what field to go into, and they helped me navigate through that very nicely. So yeah, you can think about it yourself and come up with your own answers, and you can keep your answers in mind as we go through the presentation. So here's just a little history of social workers in schools that I could find. The first one was social work in schools began between 1906 and 1907, so quite a long time ago. In 1914, a training program for social workers was established at the University of Toronto, which I found pretty cool for that to have started in our city. The first collaboration between counselors and psychologists was in 1939, and that led to the establishment of Canadian Psychology Association, which I also found to be quite interesting. And it's all that I had on the history of social workers in school, so I'll move forward. So what is the role of a social worker? So I took this definition from one of my references, and what I took from it was school social workers are trained mental health professionals who can assist with mental health concerns, behavioral concerns, positive behavioral support, academic support, consultation with teachers, parents, and administrators, as well as provide individual and group counseling or even therapy. So these are just some of the responsibilities and duties of a school social worker or a school counselor, if you will. Many people are under the assumption that their role is strictly just academic. However, there's a wide variety and a wide spectrum of things that their job titles cover. So some of their responsibilities and duties are to help students function effectively in the school environment. The second point is to assess areas in which students may require assistance or counseling. The third was communicate with students, parents, teachers, and administrators. Maintain accurate case files and reports to track student progress and obstacles. Assist in the redemption by providing treatment plans or counseling. Evaluate student transcripts. And participate in individual education plans, or otherwise known as the IEP, process as necessary. And if you look at any job description for responsibilities and duties, this is most likely what they will be asking for in terms of a school counselor. So I put together a slide that will depict the benefits of the benefits and services that the school social workers have to school districts, because they do play a big role in that. So the school district can be, we're up in Toronto, so right here, Upper Canada District School Board. So one of the benefits and services is assisting in developing and implementing educational programs for children, identifying and reporting any abuse or neglect, providing consultation regarding school law and school policy, providing case management for students and families requiring multiple resources. And then I did another slide on benefits and services for students, kind of like a vice versa. So they do different things for different sectors. So the first slide was for the district, and this is for the actual student itself. So one of their benefits and services towards students is providing crisis intervention, developing intervention strategies to increase academic success, assisting with conflict resolution and anger management, helping the child develop appropriate social interaction skills, assisting the child in understanding and accepting self and others, which I feel is really important. If you're a school counselor or a school social worker and you're dealing with students, children, or minors that essentially do need guidance at the very sensitive time in their life, when you're in high school, middle school, around that age group. So I wanted to highlight the essential need for school counselors and school social workers because I do feel like there is a good need for them. One of my points was that children today are at a higher risk to be victimized by social pressures that negatively affect their role as students. Unlike teachers, social workers are trained to deal with vulnerable individuals and situations, so they have more tools, I believe, to help a student. It is essential to assess the personal barriers that the students may be facing, which will limit their potential of self-awareness, social interaction, and academics. So the school social worker or the school counselor can help guide them through these personal barriers. Social workers have the ability to make the connection of external pressures that would negatively affect the students internally as well as in the classrooms. So I feel like they are able to identify pressures that would otherwise result in the student, behaving in a manner that isn't like normally how they would normally react. And they're able to see like what pressures of the outside world would prevent them from meeting their academic goals. Okay, so the next slide is just a continuation on the essential need of school social workers and school counselors, and these contain a little bit of statistics, and the reference for these statistics can be found on my reference page at the end of the presentation. So the first point was students who have had one-on-one meetings with the school counselor to discuss financial aid are 7 times more likely to complete their FAFSA, which is what they would call OSAP eligibility in the United States. But in Canada, it's referred to as OSAP eligibility. The second point I received from my reference, is a one-on-one meeting with a counselor to talk about financial aid or college triples students' chances of going to college. If a child's school offers a counselor that helps with college selection and admissions, this increases the students by 16% to schedule a meeting with a counselor, which is a good thing in terms of graduating and taking the next step towards college or university. And the last point was adding one additional school counselor to a school setting, I presume, can lead to a 10% increase in 4-year college enrollment, which is, again, a really good point. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. So in this slide, I phrased it as, do they really make a difference? Because a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about school counselors. So I pulled this video to use as reference from YouTube. And it's real life students that are thanking basically their counselors for the role that they played in helping shape their future. So I'll read just a little sub-blurb of it. And the name of the video is Thank You, School Counselors Make a Difference. So College Board celebrates counselors around the country for their role in clearing the path for students to own their future. Hear from students as they share their heartfelt appreciation for the noble difference that their individual counselor made in their lives. And at this point, I will click the link and we can watch the video together.
Dear Miss Ross, I've never told you this, but you have changed my life for the best. Because of you, I have managed to make it to my senior year of college without having to pay anything out of pocket.
So if Brad and Linda were right in front of me right now, I'd say, thank you! I'd give them a really, really big hug.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Frank. I appreciate everything you do.
If Captain Haran were in front of me right now, I would probably give her a big hug.
I am forever thankful for everything that you've done for me, Mr. Duncan.
They really cared, and they really understood what I wanted to get out of my college experience, even before I even got there.
They would always call me and my best friend to the front office to fill out scholarship opportunities or fill out college applications.
I wouldn't be here today without him and his guidance.
She used to say, you'll never know unless you apply. Told me, follow my dreams.
Through the ups and the downs.
She said, go with your passion. She's like, I'm not telling you what to do.
She'd call me 7 o'clock in the morning, telling me, hey, don't you want to study political science? You should go to this program.
They understood me.
She believed in me.
Through scheduling, through opportunities, everything.
The best piece of advice that he's ever given me was simply to relax.
Basically, follow your heart. And I want to thank my high school counselor, Miss Ponce, for helping me get here today.
I would not be where I am without her guidance.
Thank you so much for what you do every day, not only for me, but to all the students at Patriot High School.
Her dedication to our student body.
For realizing the bigger picture and realizing what I needed even when I didn't know.
Thanks for all the flexibility and support that you offered. It really allowed me to achieve my dreams, and now I'm at Columbia University, my top school.
Bachman, if you're out there somewhere, sincerely, genuinely, I love you for everything you've done.
Okay, so that concludes the video. And the reason that I wanted to show that video is just to show that counselors do make a difference. They try their hardest every day with students, not just on an academic level, but to try to connect with them and establish rapport and really tap into their life to help them in their academic career as well. So this is my reference page, all the references that I used in order to deliver all the information that I presented in these slides. I hope it helped to get the mind going about how much responsibilities, duties, benefits, and services, and the essential need for school social workers. And if this is a career path that you wish to take, I hope this inspires you or helps to give you some knowledge about school social workers or school counselors. And again, I just want to thank you for listening. Thank you for participating in this online presentation. And again, now at the end of this presentation, I'd like you guys to go back to the discussion questions, and you can rethink these questions after this presentation and see if any of your answers have changed. Maybe watching the video or reading some of what the role of a social worker is, the responsibilities, services, and see if any of your answers changed. And maybe hopefully this presentation helped in educating you on the benefits of social work in schools and integrating social works in education. Thank you guys for listening. Okay.